We've done our time.
So, welcome back, guys. As you can see, me and Rory have already started the episode without you. It's another episode of the DXB Podcast. Rory Sadler's on the show. I've been told to shut the fuck up and just let them speak. So, Rory, who are you? What do you do? And why do you do it?
Cheers, Shane. It's great to be here. Thanks for having me. I'm Rory. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Trumpet. We're a buyer enablement platform that helps revenue teams close more deals quicker with microsites, as we call them, pods. And we just turned 2. We've got a brilliant team, amazing customer base, and it's just been non-stop.
Okay. So, why the hell are you doing buyer enablement?
Good question. I think like most people, I fell into sales. This was always the plan, was to build something.
Mm-hmm.
And at university, the one thing I was okay at was presenting. So when I left uni, I was like, okay, cool. I want to get in startups. But I don't know much about X. I'm not an engineer and I'm not a founder yet. And the job that made most sense was sales. So fortunately, landed my first gig, first sales hire, and helped that company go to like Series A and brilliant journey, and led the team. Went to a couple of others, ended up at Hotjar, market leader in the heat mapping space. And it was there, and throughout that journey across a couple of companies in B2B SaaS, I realized that selling is hard, but buying is harder. Buying software is just complex. There's so many decision makers and it takes forever. You and I go onto a certain website and something is a one-click checkout and arrives tomorrow. You don't get that in software sales. And you're not going to, because it is meant to be tough and there's a lot of risk involved.
Of
But
course.
yeah, I started building Google Drive links, Notion pages to essentially centralize my prospects' journeys, because there's a lot of information, a lot of back and forth, and they were so receptive to it. And that's when the light bulb happened of, okay, cool. They like this. My team want me to build it for them. There's something here. So fell into sales, was a sales nerd, trying tools like, you do as well, always checking out what's the hottest tech.
Yeah.
And then fortunately landed on this concept of Trumpet, and it's been never looked back since.
Congratulations. I think buyers are the biggest pain in the ass in the world. So I have created my new website. The one sales contract that we did with my business partner when we used to work together. It took 11 months to close. He shared it with everybody in the company. We flew Antoine out to San Francisco for a week, paid for hotels. He still didn't sign, then came back and then sent it again. And then the buyer fucked us on the contract too. So it's an absolute fucking nightmare. So now what I do is I don't want to speak to no buyer. I don't care what they say. I do not want to speak to you. Jump on my podcast. I'll just put you in front of a bunch of people. If you want to sponsor or anything, you do that. Don't speak to me. Don't call me. You buy your shit. You go to the Trello board. I'll speak to you there. You don't want to speak to me because I'm a pain in the ass. So
You've been burnt. You've been burnt as a salesperson by a buyer.
I'm done.
That's the nature of sales.
It is, and I'm sure it's why you do it. So give us a quick run through then. Let's see what it looks like. I think
Awesome.
you should be able to share the screen, and then we'll jump into the juicy part.
Yeah, we can do it. This is the most asked question. Oh, there we go. Can you see my screen in the last 2 years?
Are we moving? Is it showing?
You can see this okay?
Now I do, yeah. Oh,
Happy days.
The purple is running strong right now.
Yeah, it's a good color palette. Cool. So essentially, we enable revenue teams to create digital sales rooms in seconds that centralize buyer journeys from that first call right through to renewal. And it's all built around the concept of a template. So in 2 seconds, let's say that I wanted to make a deal room, or a pod as we call them, for Figma. I'm going to pull it through from CRM, and I'm going to address it to someone called Tom at Figma. Once you've got a template and a couple of details, you'll be able to create a branded and personalized microsite in 2 seconds. I'm going to make my screen a little bit bigger, as you can see.
Wow.
And then we're good to go. So very much the drag and drop system. Everything can be added from mutual action plans, video recording, proposals, timelines, and they live across these pages. We call those pages, those pages are built using these widgets, and they help to organize a buyer journey. And it's really as easy as that when it comes to building. High level, it's a link. Anyone that you send this to, they don't need a Trumpet account. And then on the live side, in fact, can I send you comments in this podcast? We can do that, can't we? Like, there's a chat.
Yeah.
Right.
We'll have it. So when I make the description and everything, all your links will be there too. But yeah, anything you want to chuck in it that makes it easier for a buyer to kind of know what is going on here.
Yeah.
Add it in there.
I don't know. Where's the comments on this? Can you add comments? Maybe not.
I don't know if you can. It's got a teleprompter.
It's got everything but comments. It's all good. Yeah, so you would send this link to a buyer, then I'll show you the live side. So then they can add comments, you can have threads, they can interact with this space, tick off steps in a mutual action plan. It's a truly collaborative workspace that helps to get to yes or no quicker, increase engagement, unlock hidden stakeholders, and provide analytics into who's doing what so that salespeople can have more informed conversations.
Wow.
But yeah, that's Trumpet in a nutshell.
Okay, so what's the number one question a buyer asks before they buy?
When can they get started?
All right, well, let's get into the podcast then. So, Rory, it's really interesting to hear how somebody from a sales background has developed something so unique. It seems like there's a lot of technical know-how in the background, and I assume that to code or to have no code and build it is quite a challenging experience, if that's the right word. So where were you in your life where, like you said, there was a problem, the team said something, but where did the technical know-how come from to actually put it into life?
Yeah, it's a great question. When I entered the world of tech, I always knew I didn't want to just be a salesperson. I thought it was really important to get exposed to other teams, how they worked, how they engage with customers, and also being able to like communicate with them in their language. So whether it was marketing, it was product or engineering, CS. So that was something I always actively did. And I think it's very easy in companies for departments to get siloed. And you have like the sales team, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's the sales team in the corner." It's just not. It's not a good thing, and it's not great for culture. So I actively spent a lot of time with product and engineering. So over time, I was able to speak their language to a certain degree. I can't necessarily code, but I can read code, and I understand a lot of the terminology, which helps when we're understanding our product roadmap and prioritizing.
On that, where did you learn how to understand code?
There's loads of courses online, loads of like free boot camps and things like that. So I was never great at them, but I understood the process, and I think that's quite important. So in this modern day and age, I look back at my education and think if there was one course I wish I'd done, probably would have been IT. I used to look back and laugh at kids that did IT, and now I'm almost envious of everything that they've learned. So yeah, and then in particular at Hotjar, it was quite a technical product. There was a lot of code involved to launch it and add it to your site. And we spent a lot of time as the sales team working with product to share customer feedback, also to help shape the roadmap. And I think I just encourage anyone to do that. It's amazing what you learn, and understanding how things are built, how they're prioritized, and how they're scoped and designed and ideated is quite interesting.
Okay. So was there ever a moment in your life where, like, one thing I really focus on with founders, CEOs, and it's the main like theme of the show. I've come from a background where, and many people know now if they do watch it, that I've come from a very light background in terms of being an Indian boy in an Indian family, had to really like follow the whole creed and everything. Culture's very big, family orientation is very big. But then when I went to America and lived there from 99 to 2015, I didn't have any eyes on me. Right. And that was my chance to really like play in the playground. And when you're in New Jersey, United States of America, like it is an absolute playground. So fast forward 13 years from there, I landed myself in a bunch of trouble. I went through rehabs, 8 jails, 1 state prison, removed from the country, came here, built my life up from scratch. But along the way, 20 years of ups and downs and failures have given me thousands and thousands of ways not to do anything anymore, not to do those things. But I also have 100 sniper shots in life. Like, I know exactly how to manage it. I know how to manage the most difficult situations in my life. For yourself, you have to be a very strong man. You have to be a very strong woman character to get into the world of being a CEO, a founder. Tell me about like that pinnacle moment in your life where you were like, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm done with sales and being an employee. I'm going over here.
Yeah. It was interesting because I've got a friend who built a business, successful one, and he's done really well. He's on to his second business now. And he always inspired me. I looked at him like we went to uni together, we studied entrepreneurship together, and it was almost like a friendly, not competition, but we were always spurring each other on. And he went down the entrepreneurial route, and I always looked at him like, I need to be doing that. But I was very risk adverse. And I had this comfortable-ish career going through startups and growing and learning lots. And you can keep progressing in the world of sales and become head of and VP and build teams and go company to company and work at all the great logos. That's a very achievable path. And I got to the point where that was panning out when I was at Hotjar. Like that was what I could make happen, not easily, but it was kind of put in front of me. But I'd been working with a life coach, which is like an active decision that I took, and that was actually a recommendation from my friend who had his own business. Because I kept saying I wanted to do stuff, but I wasn't doing it. So I was like, yeah, I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to like make, go for it. It's always been the dream. I've got this like real hunger. And he's like, well, why aren't you doing it? I was like, well, there's this and there's that. And there's always an excuse. And I worked with a life coach for about a year to be able to like self-reflect on things that were stopping me from achieving what I wanted in life and taking those big bets. And I think it really came down to what we identified was, it's kind of the saying that I live by now, which is like no risk, no story. You can't have something, you can't tell that story if you're not going to make that leap. And that was really when the penny dropped. But it was, we were kind of working together weekly for a long period to uncover that. So, life coaches sound a bit whatever. I don't know the best way to put it, but some people would frown at me and like, I don't need that. And I didn't think I needed it. But it was pretty eye-opening. It really helped me develop as a person, confront the things that I knew were holding me back, and help me kind of make this leap, because it was a big leap at the end of the day.
What can you share? What age you were when you made the leap?
This was only 2 years ago, so 27 or 28, can't remember exactly.
Wow, mate! Congratulations. So I'll tell you from my side, I've had about 3 or 4 life coaches myself. First life coach situation, it was fucking beautiful. Okay. My ex-fiance 4 years ago said, you're the problem, you're the problem, you're the problem. I want you to get help. Okay, let's go for it. She got me the life coach. 6 months later, that life coach told me she's poisonous, get away from her. Then I lost 20 kgs. I was ripped as hell. Went to Morocco, went and had a bunch of fun. Then I got married, engaged, had a kid. Then 2 years later, divorced. So in those 2 moments, though, I had 2 more life coaches. One was a life coach that the one thing that she taught me, though, in all seriousness, was a lot of people, when they do want to make a transition into entrepreneurship or owning a business, they typically either are alone and can take that leap, or they're in a relationship and have to make sacrifices. Okay. And that was one of the sacrifices I had to understand very clearly. So this girl who I was engaged to, it was the whole Indian thing. Families knew each other. It was going to be like fit in with the Jones kind of thing. And I was fucking miserable. This woman was a pain in the fucking ass. Oh my God. Such a headache. So long story short, I was meeting with the life coach, and she started to say, why won't you make this move? Like, what is stopping you from like pulling away from her? And I said, I feel like I'll let my family down, her family down. I've made a bunch of promises. We're engaged. So I don't want to I always told her I'd be there for her. And I felt guilt from that. So she said, well, have you ever thought of the possibility that by you getting away from her, that she can have somebody who will give her what she needs? She will be able to give that person what he needs. And the same for you. You can do that for somebody else. You can be better for somebody else. Don't you owe that to her? Wouldn't that be a better thing to do? That was my first light bulb moment in understanding relationships. And then moving from there, I took another one, which was stepping into the role of a CEO. Because I was always an employee, I always felt like I need to ask. Then it became do, get, require, demand, and like moving forward from there. That helped me transition into that phase. And then when I fucking 10x'd was this guy, Andy Shaw. He was a elite performance coach. Dope as hell. He just changed all those thinking patterns of it takes this long to do something, find the wormhole and just go here, right? 10 years can be done in one, all that stuff. They were game changers for me, absolute game changers. What was the one game changer for you that that life coach told you or instructed you to do?
I think it was look forward at life of, where you wanted to be in 5, 10, 20, 30 years, and what was the narrative that you wanted to be able to share and like look back on and be proud of. And then thinking incrementally, like, how are you going to actually make that happen? The first step is, if you carry on down the current trajectory, what's that going to lead to? So it's basically painting out the two scenarios. Because I had the idea for Trumpet, and it was like, okay, what's step one? Like, how do we then move this forward and things like that? So yeah, that was quite eye-opening. Being in a relationship as well, when you decide to go down this path, there is sacrifice to make, and it's amazing to have someone there that supports you through those high days and also the lows and the long hours and things like that. And it was also then reflecting on that and sharing that with my partner and seeing how they align to it as well. So it's quite like wear your heart on the sleeve, open chat, which I hadn't really done before. I think that was quite a pivotal moment in our relationship, but in a good way, a really, really good way. Made us
I think
definitely stronger.
I think it makes a big difference. So one thing with my ex-wife, I will say this: when I met her and she came here, I was working for a good company, established, had a good reputation, could basically get away with anything. And I asked my wife at the time, I want to start a business. I'm tired of this. Will you support me? It's going to be 2 to 3 years of real grit, like grind. Things are going to be tough. Things are going to be very, very difficult. There might be times where we don't have food. And she was like, go for it. And within 27 months, we hit £1 million in service based bootstrap revenue for telemarketing. 4 month churns, bro. Like this shit don't last for longer than 4 months because they hate you after it. Nobody likes a telemarketer. So that 2 years was incredible. But my mistake was this: I was so focused and in love with my business and the grind and just building and building and building that I neglected my relationship. And in neglecting my relationship, my wife felt that I gave the time that I should have had with her, where we lost our connection, I gave that to the team that I was with. And I don't care about how it looks, but my team, a lot of my team was really good. I set up a lot of my team in very good positions, but then there were some who really fucked me. And those are the people I sacrificed the time on this side for with my business instead of my wife. And I have paid a price for it. I'm okay with it because I understand. But how would you say you manage your dynamic in your relationship so your partner kind of understands, like, look, this is, I don't mean to be doing this, but this has to be done?
It's an interesting question. I think the key thing for us is communication. And I think, and I'm not trying to generalize or stereotype here, but I don't think guys generally want to communicate and share and open up.
Yep.
And, not to say like I'm a soppy guy and have these like super deep, tearful conversations, but at the same time, there wouldn't be anything wrong with that.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
it's very much like we just do communicate. And when times are busy and hard, like as I get back from like a long day, I actually like go into the house knowing it's not okay to bring that tiredness in as well, and like take that, but like, you've got to go in with a new energy. They've been waiting for you all day. You've got to like smile and catch up, and that's kind of the role that you've taken on. Is you're living like these two lives, and you can't just fully sacrifice one. So I think it's awareness of the support they're giving you and giving it back, and making time for them as well is quite important. Like we actively make sure we've got like date days or date nights, whatever, booked in the calendar, and we always look at the calendar ahead and make sure we're spending time together, because the hours are long. You can't really avoid that, and it's like overnight. As soon as you kind of build something overnight, it's 24/7. You can't walk away from it. You can't escape it, and it's brilliant. It is so fulfilling, but it is exhausting and it is very, very consuming. And I think just ensuring that you're aware of it, you address it, you communicate it, and you speak about it is just the bare minimum that needs to happen.
Well, look, you've learned that 10 years earlier than me, which is huge, right? Because let me see what you think about this statement. I only read about 2 years ago, but I was reading that a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of CEOs, they will give 100% of their attention and 100% of their effort to their team, right? And where the disconnect happens is you've actually solved the problem already, but when a husband or a wife goes home to their partner, they will only give 25% or 50%, right? Or when they're working from home and they see that enthusiasm and their energy, and then they come out of that and then they only get 25%. They're like, hold on a second, this team's getting 100% of this guy. Why am I only getting 25%? Why is the kid only getting 25%? And then another thing happens there. So when did, again, you're fucking smart as shit, because when did you figure this out? Because this is a life hack.
Honestly, I don't even think it was like an active realization. I think it came from working with the life coach AK, who I'd really recommend, and anyone can reach out to me, and I'm happy to introduce. And then I think also there were a few periods whilst building Trumpet where I did neglect Jess, and and we weren't talking enough, and it led to like a couple of tough conversations. But then you need to, like you said, you go through these tough experiences in life, you go through hard moments, and then you come out stronger if you confront them rather than walk away or not address them. So I think it doesn't take a lot. We're very, very close, and we do communicate really well. So kind of needed a couple moments like that to happen in the early days to know moving forward, can't really let that happen again. It's not fair.
Mate, that is incredible. So, next question is always very, very interesting. As you can see, I don't run a business type of podcast. It has a business element to it, but it's more on the person and the real shit that people don't get. Like, you get a lot of fluff online. Oh my gosh, you need to prospect and ask this question. Oh my God, make 7,000 million thousand fucking calls every day and you'll get. Shut up, bro. Like, just do something different. The current state of play for Rory, tell me about you and Trumpet as currently today, Thursday, the 7th of December, 2023.
From what angle?
Let's say you as the CEO of Trumpet.
Okay. That's a fair angle. I think I should be able to answer that. I guess I'd summarize that we just turned 2 yesterday, and it's a very tough climate out there, but we're not immune to the economic climate and things like that. But at the same time, we've grown very, very fast in 2 years. And I think the team have just done the most exceptional job of being close to our customers, building a best in class product, and getting us so far in such a short period. And I think, I always put everything that we've achieved down to them. The only thing I can take credit for is partly alongside my co-founders is building that team. And, seeing these people take a bet on a founder who's got a vision and a dream. And, there was no product, and there were no processes and things like that. They're awesome people, because they could have taken a comfortable job elsewhere and more career progression and safer, working circumstances given this tough economic climate, but just forever grateful and proud, to be honest. So we've 2 years in, we've still got a lot to achieve, but we know we're able to make that happen. And I think that's the key bit, is we look ahead with confidence, not arrogance. We're just confident that what we've set out to do is we're gonna get there.
I think what you got going is fucking beautiful. So tell me, in 10 years, Thursday, well, it won't be Thursday, but it will be the 7th of December. It will be 4:57 p.m. Tell me what you're doing right now, right then. Well, right at this time in 2033.
Yeah. I have to admit, when I look outside and it's pitch black and pretty cold in London, it would be nice to be with family and friends on a beach, taking a winter break, which is something really haven't got time for, and probably won't for the foreseeable. But being able to have that time, I think it's a key thing in life, is as you grow and I guess build a level of success, that's what you want to take control of, is your time and spending it with family and friends. So it'd be great to be doing that, but then looking at what we've achieved and what we're achieving with Trumpet, and it becoming a generational company. That's where I always think about it, is we don't just want to build a cool product or a cool tool. We're trying to build something that really disrupts and changes how sales is done and how buyers and sellers engage. So yeah, spending time with family and friends, looking back and looking around at the team, the product, and the impact that we've had as a company would be awesome.
So now we're going to dive in a bit deeper onto the detail of that. So tell me, you're speaking to me at 4:58 now. So walk me through 4:59. Tell me what are you sitting at the dinner table? Are you at the beach? Are you with your wife? Do you have 2 kids? Do you have a Ferrari?
Yeah.
Do you have a trailer? Are you broke? You living in a box or you live in a mansion? Tell me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a humble guy from humble background and things like that. I'm not too like focused on the material stuff in life. I think one thing I really want to enable is being able to have that time. So I would be sitting with my wife and hopefully 2, 3 kids. I'm not sure if I could handle any more. We've got a dog, cocker spaniel called Rue. Big fan of dogs. There'd probably be another couple of dogs. So being able to take them abroad, I'm sure would be a nightmare, but it'd be good. I'm sure at that point, 10 years later, it'd be even easier than it is today. Not that we've tried it. And just a big foodie. Like I'm very, very like simple things in life keep me happy. Like good food, good friends, good wine. Like that's enough. And flying back to a nice house, nothing too big. I think too much space just is a waste of space. Really, you don't need it. And coming back to a Christmas party with the team, and they'll be flying in from all over the world because we have already a team all over the world, and it'd be great to continue doing that because I don't believe that talent ends at the M25. But we would have talent flying into London for our big annual Christmas do. That'd be cool.
This is what I'm saying. That's the detail I'm looking for. That's the Rory I'm looking for. It's incredible, mate. Absolutely incredible. So as we come to an end, one thing I always like to give back is like executable actions, right? Executable actions that people can take away today. So let's say for me right now, I am on my 20s. I've been trying to make 100. I got to 25 like very quickly on the GPTs, and then at 26 I was like, holy shit, I don't know what else to do. So my hack right now is really leveraging GPT and AI to do a lot of things 100 times faster.
What's the best one?
Opus AI right now, like I told you. I make a video with you. I make a video with you for half an hour, make 100 digital clips. I've got 8 social media accounts. And I used to make 100 to 200 calls when connect and sell, and when I started to get dialers, 500-600 calls a day. The team were doing 2,000 calls a day on a parallel dialer, and sometimes they were getting burnt out speaking to 2-3 people a day, even with power. And it's just a pain in the fucking ass. I told you, it's just a massive headache. No matter how strong you are, how good you are, you never get the full credit you deserve. That's the God's honest truth, and I believe that strongly. But now, like I said, I can make one video that takes an hour, and I can reach thousands to 10,000s, and soon to be millions of people over 1 hour, and they all see my message. They all see what I do, right? And in terms of ease, path of least resistance, that's a major hack for me. So it could be to do with Trumpet. It could be to do something you do in your daily routine. What's something one person is going to take away from this? They're going to hear what you say and they can do it today and get a result tomorrow.
With GPT?
Anything that Rory believes is right, whether it could be project management, it could be tech, it could be meditation, whatever you want.
That's a good question. On the GPT side, I think you can very easily build a nice sales coach, feed it with the right podcast, books, articles, guides, frameworks, to then be able to query it on anything. That's why I live and breathe is just sales nerding out. And that's definitely doable. And I would encourage everyone to have a go at that because as you've experienced, it's a great learning curve and you got to embrace AI. You can't fight it. Outside of that, I think, a really small life hack. I'm not the most organized person in the world. Like my notes are always messy. I still use paper and pen, and I ping myself on Slack, and I use them. Yeah, I love it. Like I love when I have calls recorded. And I love that it translates everything. But at the same time, there's certain things that I know and how I've done sales are like key bullet points and how I short form them. Anyway, so I'm not the most organized person, but you have to be when you're doing this kind of role, and it's what you owe to the team. But the one thing that I do is I start every single day and I write a fresh checklist and I solve the biggest problem first. So I'm a morning person. I like to get in at 7. I've got 2 hours before any meetings kick off where I can just focus. And in those 2 hours, I will do the 1, the 2, the 3 biggest things that I need to achieve that day. Then I go into meetings, and then between those, I get other things done. But there is something about ticking off a checklist that you've prepared each day that is very satisfying when you get to the end of the day and you think, I've had a good day. I've done what I needed to do and I'm on top of it, and you don't let things slip and then eat into the next day. And then the list gets too long and it just goes out the window. Yeah. And once you bake it into your routine and make it habit, it's bliss.
I think that's incredible. I've just started using Trello and I just learned how to use the checklist. Life is absolutely dandy right now.
Life is good.
Life is very good. So, okay, where can people find you? Are there any Christmas offers for people to come and check out Trumpet and become customers? If they're whack at X, what do they do? And what is X to come to to come to Trumpet? But where do they find you? What's on offer? What's going on for Christmas?
Yeah, Christmas season is here. So I'm very, very active on LinkedIn. I love sharing tips, tricks, everything sales. I am on Twitter as well. I'm a little bit more of a fly on the wall there. My email is very easy to guess, rory@sendtrumpet.com. And Trumpet is free. Like, we have a free plan. Anyone can check it out. But if they want to move on from the free plan, yeah, they just need to give me a mention that they've been checking out this podcast. Happy to look after friends of Shane. And
Wow.
we can get that going.
Rory, you're a legend. You have such a nice groomed beard too. So look, I'll get all this chopped up. As I mentioned, it's going to be on the channel and all the social media sites. I really, really appreciate you being here and taking the time to jump on the show. You're an amazing person. I hope a lot of people got value out of this episode. And until next time, my brother, Merry Christmas, and I'll see you very, very soon.
Nice one, Shane. Thanks for having me on.
No worries. Just stay here for a second.